All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Aloha Press Show. My name is JC out here in Atlanta, Georgia. Joined today by my co-host Jeff. Jeff, I gotta say, dude, I love the sweatshirt. I'm excited about spring. I absolutely love what you're wearing.
Right? Hey, and I feel like I tried to go outside today to show off, the weather here. Don't let this fool you. The trees are still now, but it was a absolute hurricane here earlier today.
Jeff's out in Amherst City, which is just an absolutely beautiful little town in sunny California. But they occasionally get some high winds. But I mean, the sweatshirt I'm complimenting you on is your Augusta National, the logo we ripped from Augusta National and put the Aloha Press logo on. I just absolutely love that thing. It's not in the pro shop anymore, but if you guys want to get some gear, we've got a few hats left. Go check out that, thealohapress.com. But Jeff, let's get into some of the news this week. I mean, horrible things happened. You and I touched on it a little bit on the Instagram live show, but Tiger Woods, wrapping his car around a freaking dirt hill and pretty much, moments there looked like he wasn't going to be around in this world anymore.
Well, hey, obviously that car is a really good car, that SUV he was in, because it saved him. I mean, to come out with just some broken legs and some bumps and bruises, you're doing all right. But I mean, that type of news, on a Tuesday, was it Tuesday or Monday?
Tuesday, yeah.
So yeah, on a Tuesday it is rough because the speculations, especially surrounding him, is going to start immediately. And we're all thinking different things. The media was the Golf Channel didn't want to touch it. They didn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. They left it all alone. And hey, we're just happy he's alive. I get it.
And that's the most important part. Like, no matter what happened, like the main concern for me at least is like, one, he was alive, but also no one else was injured, because a lot of times, celebrities at this caliber think that they're fucking invincible, at times, and they go out and do stupid shit. And it just, I don't want to say Tiger Woods has a fucking track record, but he does. Like, I mean, he was the guy who fell asleep at the wheel, like after he just drugged the side of his car down a fucking guardrail, because he was intoxicated. So you never know. But at 7:00 in the morning, news broke, TMZ's all over it. And thank God that LA County Sheriff's Office actually did their job, which kept the greatest player alive, and really got him the best help. The thing that drove me crazy with law enforcement background is like they were asking all these specific questions, and then I got questions. And the one thing that stood out to me was like, they're like, yeah, we didn't smell any alcohol. He didn't have any like slurred speech, bloodshot, watery eyes, but he couldn't stand. And I'm like, no shit, you couldn't fucking stand. He had two broken legs. What are you gonna make him do, like a fucking 6 steps and turn? Like, are we gonna have him balance on his fucking snapped in fucking femur? It just, these fucking idiots just drive me crazy. So good news, the deputy sheriff, obviously made some statements. The sheriff came out and said that they're not going after any toxicology reports. They're not doing any search warrants. And he's pretty much clear of any of those rumors that were absolutely just hit Twitter and hit the social media scene really quick.
Well, here's the thing that got me, though, from an outsider's perspective. The man is one of the richest athletes of all time in the world, right? He probably doesn't spend a lot of time driving. He's either flying in the air, he's getting shuttled around. How does he not have a driver? How does he not have a driver? How does he not have somebody that picks his ass up in the morning and says, I'm going to take you to your obligation over here to go play golf with Drew Brees and whoever else you're playing with? Like, how is he the one speeding down the hill, from reports, angry, almost hitting people as he's leaving wherever the hotel was he was at? Like, why is he even driving himself? He should have a driver.
Well, I mean, to be quite honest with you, like if you have that much cash and you're handed a sweet Genesis, by the way, I don't know what kind of shit tournament that they're putting on. Like, why isn't, like, we have the best golf in the world literally is there in LA and we get the Genesis? Like, I get it. They put up a bunch of money, but like Tesla can't give him a ride, like Rolls Royce. Can we get a Bentley? Something with a few more airbags near his feet? Because yes, he might have left angry, but if I'm Tiger Woods, I ain't nobody fucking driving me around. Are you kidding me? Will you letting Joe Blow fucking give me an Uber ride? What? No, negative. I am getting in my not Genesis. I'm getting into something way sexier than the mom van, and but I'm the guy that dies. I'm the guy that wraps around the fucking tree and kills himself doing an 80, into 35 in my Ferrari. So, I mean, that's how I'm going out, Jeff.
Well, hey, I'm opposite of you because I want somebody to drive me around. I'm in. You never have to worry about a single thing. You just got to show up on time and say, hey, get me here, get me there. Hey, but we're just happy he made it through. He's gonna be all right. Will he play golf again at a competitive level? Who knows? At least he'll be able to play golf again, just maybe not on tour.
Yeah, I mean, and it's something that when you have emergency type surgery where they're trying to save your legs, like the golf is not the priority. It's literally just being able to walk around with your kids. But I hate to say it. I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but we're a media company that speaks their mind and gives people really what we're fucking thinking. He's winning again on the PGA Tour. Okay, he's gonna get him another major championship. Okay, we're gonna see him in that fucking victory red, kicking people's ass because last Sunday almost pissed me off. The dude isn't dead yet, and you're having a tribute. You've got a field of victory red out there. I mean, it just, Jeff. I mean, your take on the tribute guys wearing red this last Sunday at the WGC at the LPGA event. We got Phil wearing his red, and we'll get into that. But I mean, what was your take on the tribute to Tiger Woods' victory red and black?
I didn't mind it. I mean, it's a good gesture, right? It's a good gesture, but you're right. Like, he's not dead. It had something really bad happen, and the entire field wore it. All, however many players won it, 50, 60 players in that field, or everybody that played golf on Sunday, no matter what tour you on, wore it. I think that would have been powerful, and that would have been really awesome. But that didn't happen. I mean, you had a handful of guys wear red, and some wasn't even like, it wasn't even the Tiger's blood red. It was like more pink than anything. So it was a cool gesture. I mean, I know Tiger liked it. He soaked it up, and he enjoyed it. But yeah, he's not dead. Let's save those type of tributes for when you pass away, like when Arnie Palmer passed away, or when Jack Nicklaus passes away. I'm pretty sure they can all go wear yellow out there and have a Golden Bear Day. But it's somebody brought it up on social media and they made it a thing.
I mean, he's gonna still kick your ass. Like, if anything, like he just weakened the entire field. Because when he shows up in victory red, it's like, good God, like we gotta check out here. I mean, the only crazy guy that we've ever seen wear red is Patrick Reed, who's a complete dipshit. But the guys who were getting shit about it on social media because they weren't wearing red was absolutely ridiculous. Max Homa was the butt of the joke for most of the week. After he just was handed a trophy by Tiger Woods, he's getting roasted on social media. I just thought it was just a bit over the top, a bit ridiculous. And I mean, what were your thoughts on Max getting hammered?
I think it's ridiculous. I don't know why anybody would take either side of the stance here, whether you're for it or against it, and make it a negative. Who cares? The guys, it's a positive 100%, right? Whether you want to do it or not. Those guys love Tiger. They wouldn't be making the money they were making that tournament without Tiger. Golf is not what it is today without Tiger. I mean, they owe everything to him, right? Tiger knows that. They all still look up to him. I mean, shit, Max Homa was talking about how he's still too nervous to talk to him last week, before the tournament started. So I think any type of negativity that comes from this, whether you were for it or against it, or you wore red or you didn't, is ridiculous. And yeah, Max Homa's right. He gets paid a lot of money to wear T-shirts with fucking 18 logos on them, right? And you're not going to get away from that one day. I mean, Phil can go buy a red shirt and put it underneath his long sleeve and call it good. But
well, Phil Mickelson owns the fucking clothing line that he's wearing. Like, it's not like Phil's like, I'm gonna tell this asshole that sponsors. He is the sponsor. Like, he can do whatever the fuck he wants. Like, and that was the difference. Like, you can't just give Max Homa and some of the guys didn't get the shit. Like, everyone that won Sunday didn't wear red. I mean, Colin Morikawa apparently, goes out there and says his sponsor is shipping a shirt to him that's red. I'm assuming they use FedEx to ship it, the main PGA Tour sponsor. They fucking swung and missed on that one. I mean, that was an opportunity. And moving on from the red shirt debate and all the nonsense, I have to say one thing. I don't know who's designing Nike's fucking gear, but this what is going on with that stuff? Like, it is not pretty. Rory McIlroy's shirt and Jason Day's shirt. Oh my god, it looked like someone puked all over it.
Well, I will say Rory, he wore a shirt and somebody else wore the same shirt. I don't know who it was, but it looked like Tetris on his shirt. I mean, if you're gonna wear red to celebrate Tiger, wear a solid red shirt, preferably without a collar, and go get it right. Like that just was a bad look. It didn't. And usually Nike uses like the contour of like a man's body and uses lines to make it look good. This just looks sloppy, dude. It looks sloppy.
The guy who pulled it off the most was Tommy Fleetwood, in my opinion. I mean, he had the old school Tiger shirt on. It was like the turtleneck and fucking cut off. It was just, I thought it was awesome. So moving on from the Tiger Woods thing, I mean, we're happy as the Aloha Press. I mean, he's influenced us. Shit, we started the podcast right after he won the Masters, so he's definitely influenced us to include, some of the other greats. But it's let's get to the WGC. I mean, Colin Morikawa, 24 years old, gets a WGC, a pretty star-studded event, had a big giant field. I mean, this guy, even with the 650 fans out there this week, Colin got it done, dude. I mean, he seems like a pretty impressive guy right now, and he's kind of getting into form for the major season.
He played well. It was quite boring and tough to watch on Sunday. There weren't the fireworks that we wanted or were hoping for. I mean, I was praying, sitting there watching Brooks come down the stretch, just like, please birdie every hole in, just give us a chance for like a playoff or something exciting to happen, and it didn't. It surprised me that Colin shot 18 under par because I thought that course it was tough. I mean, but if you missed in the right spots, which he did, or you played position golf, you could get away with it. You could make your birdies. I mean, he made 27 birdies in 4 days there. It wasn't that hard of a course, but when you missed, it was bad because it would roll all the way off the green down into the gully or into the palmetto bushes or whatever the hell they're talking about. A miss was compounded, but it wasn't that tough of a course as they were trying to make it seem because they still went out and shot 18 under.
The next best was with Brooks, Victor Hovland, and Billy Horschel at 15 under. So they definitely didn't miss the mark. And Colin definitely, he just, if you're pretty straight off the tee and you're one of the best iron players on the tour, like, yeah, of course you're going to have a good day. Like, of course you're going to shoot 18 under. I mean, it wasn't that tough of conditions, to be quite honest with you. But his chipping was just, was so much better. I mean, Paul Azinger, that was the entire talking point on Sunday's coverage. Like, there was nothing else to talk about. It was just seeing a guy. It was like the most boring round of golf. He's just going out there and shooting 3 or 4 under. And Paul Azinger, just good God. Apparently he's giving tour guys chipping advice.
Well, Paul just talks about himself because he wants a pat on the back. I mean, he wants people to know that he's relevant. And I'm surprised that the tour players even really recognize him when he's just walking around out there prior to a round. But the thing that got me, and David Feherty was good this weekend. He was really good because Paul wanted to give his little story about how Colin came up to him about chipping lessons and being a Northern California boy, doesn't really know how to chip into these greens and stuff like that. And then they go to him on this short par 4 where he's driven it up by the green and he's using a hybrid instead of chipping. And Feherty goes, well, he must have really took something from those lessons. And I was dying because I'm like, yeah, dude, you want to pat yourself on the back and say how you gave him all these bump and run lessons and he ain't even taking them. He's out there freaking using a hybrid like I would, essentially putting.
That was the whole point. It was like, he doesn't know how to get up and down on Bermuda. It's, the grain, it's just different. The boys out in California, they just don't understand it. And then, I went out there and I told them how to do it. And it's like, Paul, you've got like 80,000 people watching this shit that travel to Florida and play on Bermuda every single year. And they chunk the shit out of chip shots. Can you please give us some advice? Like, give us some of your insight. If you want to be relevant, like, fuck, give us something. Like, all I saw that these guys did different than I do is instead of taking their 60 or 56 degree wedge and nipping it clean, they're using hybrids. Webb Simpson, I don't think, doesn't even carry a fucking chipping wedge. He putted from everywhere. John Rahm was putting it up hills and then back into hills. It was just, I don't know, Paul. He's almost on his way out, I think. I mean, the better TV looks nowadays. I've got some fancy 4K TV. Paul Azinger looks like he's 85. He is horrible. Like, he doesn't look good.
Paul is not very good, but when it comes to chipping, and since we're on this topic, your boy Terrell Hatton was down in one of those little gullies, and he had some struggles to where the ball went backwards past where he was at 2 times in a row before he figured it out. And I thought for sure, I go, he's going to snap a club, he's going to throw something, he's going to have a tantrum, give me something good to watch. He maintained his composure throughout all of it. Like, what happened to him? That is not normal. I like the fire. I want to see the fire. I want to see the fireworks. Where were they?
I don't know. It just the course wore those guys out. I mean, the golf course, I mean, I thought was a really cool PJ Tour stop just because it was a little bit different and it really challenges guys. But Jeff, you and I, how many fucking golf balls would you lose in a day? Like there was no forgiveness off the tee, and there was no forgiveness around the green. Like it, I would have turned into Terrell Hatton, like old school last year Terrell Hatton, because you just couldn't like it was just some of the most difficult, challenging like ups and downs that these guys were getting after.
Well, I mean, not even the up and downs. The putting alone. I mean, I saw a stat for three putts, which was astronomical for PGA Tour pros to have that many three putts in a tournament. Um, but can you imagine? Yeah, I mean, we go to Poppy Hills and we play those courses, and we three putt all day. I once think I had 9 3 putts in a tournament round there, and I played phenomenal, except for putting. How many would I have had there? I mean, it was tough. Everything was up and down. I mean, I know our boy Ben Malik talked about how they put him on like the easiest 1% grade spots. They did not do that this week. Those cups were cut hard every single day on almost every hole.
It was definitely tough. It's one of those things. It's like, oh, look how pretty and beautiful this course is. Like look how challenging it is. I'm like, that's the last fucking course I'd want to put on my bucket list. Like that place did not look like fun at all. I mean, besides the alligators that they were fucking showing off, I'm assuming some kind of fucking poisonous snake that lives around there. It did not look like a golf course I'd want to like spend most of my time at.
No, not at all. I'm definitely, if I'm going to Florida, that's not on the list.
Colin Morikawa, I mean, he gets it done. Plays absolutely incredible golf. I mean, really has really kind of transformed himself into this. I don't want to say superstar, but shit. I mean, he's I think what is he 22, 24 years old? I
24.
mean, yeah. So I mean, he's 24 years old. He's played in 42 events, had 15 top tens, 4 wins, including a major, and now a WGC. I mean, he's on pace to be one of those guys who probably could be a handful of majors by the time he's 30. I mean, he is he as good of an iron player as they say he is? And does his putting, is it fixed?
Hey, I think his putting is fixed for now, and he's a great iron player. And I want to take back, like I talked a little bit of mess on him after the PGA when he won out there at Harding Park, and thought that hey, he might not be able to get it done had they had a full house of fans. But he's won on some tough golf courses. He's got 4 wins. He's 24 years old. I'm a believer now. I really am. I was kind of skeptical in the past, but I'm a believer. I think that guy is legit. He is good to go. I think he's going to continue to win, and he can get it done down the stretch.
Well, and he gets it done in like big boy events. It's not like he has
Yeah,
four. It's not like he has 4 victories at like the Texas John Deere Open or the fucking the Puerto Rico Open. It's not these second tier events that he's racking up wins. He's getting it done at WGCs where the best players in the world are there. I mean, major championships. But the thing that I noticed the most was he's winning at events that aren't regular stops on the PGA Tour. Where a younger player who doesn't have the experience like a DJ or a Rory or a Brooks who have spent like 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 15 years on the tour, where they go to the same spot year in, year out. He's winning at golf courses that they've only been to maybe once or twice, like TPC, at the PGA Championship, or like Concession this week.
he is. And hey, he beat a lot of the top 10 players in the world by a lot of strokes this week. I mean, you look at DJ and John Rahm, Rory played well, but some of those guys, they struggled this week. That course was not easy for them. Yeah, they'd make 6, 7 birdies in a round, but the big numbers were what surprised me. The sevens, the sixes, those numbers were out there. And, the guys, they struggled at times. He did not, 27 birdies. I know he made a big number here or there, but it didn't matter. He still shot 18 under par.
I mean, I think the coolest story, really, I mean, Victor Hovland, I mean, on Friday shoots, he's got an 8. Like he would have won. I think he would have won the tournament if he would have like turned the 8 into like a 5. I mean, at one point, I'm just chipping back and forth across the green, gets him in down for an 8, and then somehow gets himself to 15 under. Victor Hovland like is evolving into a pretty fucking good player. Like last year at this time, he had won the first time at the Puerto Rico Open, and now he's got a second victory, and it looks like he's going to make the European Ryder Cup. I mean, just kind of crazy.
If he doesn't make the Ryder Cup, there's something wrong because he's a stud. And the way he started out on Sunday, going birdie birdie, when those holes were playing over par and they were really tough, and he's sticking it to like 6 feet, 3 feet on to start the round. I thought he had a chance. I thought he was going to chase him down. Yeah, he stumbled a little bit, but yeah, even your boy Tony Finau, he goes out and makes a 7 or an 8 and comes back with 3 birdies in a row and gets himself another top 10. I think he finished like 8th or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's solid. It's solid playing. It was. Here's the thing. They were the best players in the world there, but it lacked the fireworks. It lacked the energy. I'm looking forward to this week. Your pick won, though, over there at WGC. My pick won in Puerto Rico. So we pushed this week, which is good for you because at one point you were down 5 come Friday night.
Yes. I was definitely down a few bottles, which I'm glad I picked Rory McIlroy. He played really well this week. It just seems like at times his iron play is just horrible. And we'll get to that. But there's a couple other guys who just are horrible. And let's start off with Patrick Cantlay. This is the WGCs are guaranteed events. They're no cut events. They're kind of an honor to have you there. You got Patrick Cantlay WDing for stomach issues and dehydration before the tournament. Jeff, this says to me that you had some spicy Mexican food and you had too many cervezas. And you can't handle a little hangover.
Let me tell you, I have stomach issues and dehydration 3 days a week. Okay. On my weekends, I have it every day. You know what I do? I wake up, I drink some water, and I have another beer. Have a cocktail. Like we say this all the time, and we want to try to make golfers seem like they're athletes. They're not. They're not. They're soft. They're soft, man. And don't even get me on. I know where we're going next with this. But that's just soft. Stomach issues and dehydration, get out of here.
It's like, did his mom call in sick for him? Like, that's like, did she have to write him a note that he couldn't make it to school today? Like, stomach issues. Like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, just find the porta john. Or you know what? Take off a few socks, okay, during the middle of the round. And if you got if you have a few stomach issues, that'd be a great story, great headline, guaranteed money. But at least he was replaced by a guy who I have no clue, Min Woo Lee, who got the opportunity to play in the no cut event, made $82,000, but a guy who made about $32,000 that did show up. Matthew Wolff goes out day one, shoots 83, and then just flat out WDs and leaves. Jeff, I mean, this is 2 times in a row at a golf course that is challenging, that had a lot of good guys in the field. And Matthew Wolff, again, withdraws. And this time, not even citing an injury, just bounces.
It's here's the thing. It's not even unexpected anymore with him. It's expected. We saw this 7 holes in. I sent you a text. I come home. I see his scores, and I go, I smell a WD coming. Right? You just knew it with him. So then it happens. You send me the text. Hey, 83. Guess who? Your boy freaking WD. We knew it was coming. So I go look at his Instagram. I'm like, what's the reason this time? Right? Is his wrist again? Crickets all weekend. Still crickets. So that leads me to believe it's mental. That dude is done. He needs to just go play in the Puerto Rican Open. He needs to go play in the second tier events, get a little confidence back because you're a puss, dude. Like you can't go and battle back. Bryson, we talked about it on the Anger Bank Friday night. Bryson started off almost as bad as him, battled back to 6 under. I mean, had he not had that one bad round, he would have been up in the top of the mix. Bryson still made a couple $100,000.
Yeah. I mean, there's a difference between someone who's mentally strong and has a ton of skill. And we give Bryson a lot of shit. And he's definitely not, our favorite. But the guy's fucking a grinder at least. I mean, I'll give him that much. I mean, shit, DJ looked like he had a hangover all 3 days. Goes out there and plays pretty good golf, still is competitive. I mean, goes out and shoots like 77 the first day. But you just go and get it done. Like that's part of the grind. That's a part of the entertainment. And the thing that drives me crazy is Matthew Wolff is 21 years old. And after he WD, they wrote this giant article about, loneliness and like how these guys are secluded to the hotel and like they're kind of quarantined in between like events and you can't test positive for COVID. To be quite honest, fuck that. Fuck all of that. That is just bullshit. That is just made up nonsense. That's made up white noise. You got Brooks Koepka, who literally who's locking himself in his house and breaking every iron in his bag to include his backup set of irons, comes out here this weekend and is just apparently Brooks quoted he had to take some pills to get him out of bed, which I think Brooks Koepka is dancing in the region of some other good pills, but it just shows the mental toughness of a guy who literally is just fighting through pain, and then a guy who literally just is crybaby, whiny, pouty face as Matthew Wolff. And another thing, if I don't ever let me pick Matt Wolff, by the way. If this kind of shit happens, like, what does Vegas say about Matthew Wolff? Like, who's breaking his ankle? It just drives me crazy.
Well, and so two things. He's 21 years old, right? I'm about to be 37. My body hurts, right? It hurts every single day. Yeah. But you know what? If I'm lucky enough to get to play golf once a week, once every 2 weeks, I don't care if I got a limp, if I got one arm that's numb, I'm gonna go play. This guy's got guaranteed money. He's invited to a prestigious tournament. He has an obligation. He has an obligation to go out there and play 4 rounds of golf, to do it for the PGA Tour, to do it for his fans, to do it for his friends and family. And he pretty much does this to everybody and says, I'm bigger than you. I'm bigger and better. You don't matter. And I'm embarrassed because I shot 83 and I shouldn't shoot in the 80s. And I'm just going to leave. And that's unacceptable.
I would go even a step further. And if I was a PGA Tour, if I was a commissioner, I would fine him. I would suspend him for 2-3 weeks. I would take money out of his pocket because he got a guaranteed check. And you're not even going to give us a freaking answer? Like, if Tom Brady misses a fucking football game, we know what happened. And Tom Brady wouldn't miss a football game. That's the difference. And that's what drives me fucking crazy. It's just, you've got guys like Tiger Woods who literally played a U.S. Open on a broken leg. Goes out there and gets a victory, who actually snaps both his legs this week. And you don't even have the balls to go out there and finish 3 rounds of golf like a man. No, you're a crybaby. We got to end the Matthew Wolff thing, or this podcast is going to go real X-ray.
Hey, I would just say this: if they had the ability to put him in some like stints and get his legs upright, and he was planning on being in the field, he could swing and play golf. Tiger would have been there. Yep. Like, that's how much of a savage he is, right? This guy, he honestly doesn't deserve airtime anymore. JC, he doesn't. He doesn't deserve to be talked about. He never should get picked. He's a non-factor in the Aloha press.